Welcome inside the State Champ Studio for another episode of the Extra Innings High School Baseball Show. I'm Robby Elliott, joined alongside Gage DeAngelis. Gage, how are we doing today?
Fantastic, Robby. Baseball's at its peak right now. How are you?
I'm doing well, by the way. Yeah. But talking about peak baseball, let's start this episode off talking about some baseball players who have, not only hit the peak of their play in the state of Michigan, but nationally, two guys that might end up being first-round draft picks coming up in the summer. The Mississippi State commit from Northville, one of our top teams, Mr. Dante Nori. Gage, this kid stands at 5'10", 190 pounds, and he has elite speed. This kid has run a 6'1", 60. He's a great pure hitter as a leadoff guy, number two guy. He's almost one of those guys when he gets a walk, he's guaranteed to be on third base by the time, a couple pitches go by.
Just a pure athlete, a great left-handed swing, something that you really look for. Going to Mississippi State, great program. If he chooses to not go to Mississippi State, get drafted, obviously, but going to that program, he's really going to learn a lot if he ends up staying there for a couple of years and then re-entering the draft. Right,
and that's the beautiful part about the baseball draft, the MLB draft, is you can get drafted and then say, hey, maybe this isn't what I want to do out of high school. Let me go develop a little bit. And he will be one of those guys, if he steps onto the campus of Mississippi State, that he'll just be a fan favorite right away. He's going to enter himself probably in the top three of that lineup, play center field every single day. And like you said, just a pure athlete, one of those kids that we're going to be talking about as a great alumni of this state.
Absolutely. He's going to take what he's done at Northville, take it down to Mississippi State, and he's going to flourish. He's going to come in as a freshman. He's going to be pretty good. He's going to fight for a spot. Ultimately, we'll see where he's at.
Right, and I can tell you one thing about Dante, though, is as much as, the draft hype is getting up, I'm sure that's all that's on his mind right now is winning that state title with Northville.
Definitely.
The next guy we're going to talk about is Caleb Bonnemer, Virginia commit shortstop playing at Okemos right now. Caleb, let me just put it this way. I don't know if we've seen a more complete baseball player in a long time with Caleb. He's pitched, he's played shortstop, he hits the ball better than most prospects do at this level, and he's always hit, Gage. He's done a really good job coming up from the time he was 14 on at the national stage, but what he's done is develop himself into a power threat and a speed threat. The combination of all that, call it a 5'2" guy. This is why he's a projected top 20 draft pick this summer.
Which is fantastic. 6'1", 200 pounds, just a frame of an overall athlete. Exit velocity 93 miles an hour. Talk about a pure hitter. That's only going to increase over time. This is one of those people. We haven't had two people potentially projected in the first round in quite a while.
And if they go in the first round, both of them, I can't remember the last time or if that's ever happened, Gage.
Coming out of Michigan, I don't think so. Last time that I know of, again, I'm aging myself here, is playing against DJ LeMahieu, and he's in the major leagues. So we'll see where he can go, where it goes from here, where both of them go.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Caleb does not end up going to the draft, when he goes to Virginia, this is a guy who will also insert himself right into the lineup, probably hit in the middle of the order, play shortstop every single day. And that is just such a huge nod to the player he is. For a freshman to go play ACC baseball, Gage, that is so tough to do, and he will probably perform at such a high level.
Some of the best programs in the country there in the ACC. He's going to do well.
Absolutely. All right, let's recap some of the games that went on just last week, starting off with a great rivalry matchup between Birmingham Seahome versus Birmingham Groves. Kyle Robbins towed the rubber for Seahome, and he was great. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 9 Ks. The Eastern Michigan commit, his fastball was looking lively in that game. And the team overall, they had 4 hits. Louis Sullivan had one right here, pulled it down the left field line. Garden Kidney, he was also another one contributing to the offense as he hit a base hit up the middle in his at-bat. But it was Nathan Luckin for Groves. This man came up in the 4th, still a 0-0 ball game. Kyle Robbins is dealing, and he dropped it into right field. And that was the lone run of the game, but he wasn't even the star. Cole Bronell Cuthrell. He was a stud. He won a complete game, had a huge strikeout to end his game. And I to have the privilege to watch this kid. He's a junk ball guy. He's really crafty as he swords his opponent right there. We had a chance to catch up with him actually after the game and talk a little bit about that amazing performance against Seaholm.
I mean, the arm felt good. First inning was the same as the last inning I felt with the velo, and the curveball was definitely working really well. Yeah, I love this team, and I know when I'm dialed, I can just have them hit ground balls, fly balls. I don't need to get all the outs myself. I know they can pick it up for me back there.
That was a big win for Groves there. What do you think of this team?
Well, with Groves, they're a pretty young team, so look for them to grow on that in the next couple of years. As far as Cole goes, committed to Kalamazoo, good arm to be behind, but something for me is winning those one-run ball games, especially in a full, complete game, all 7 innings, no relief needed. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, and the coaches kept talking about in that game how this game feels like it's a regional final. They're competing to, get a chance to go play at Michigan State. So the pressure was high for Cole, and he just came through. Unbelievable performance. We've been talking about the West Side so much, and we had a great matchup over there. Hudsonville, Rockford. This one went extra innings, 8 innings. Aiden Shaws knocked in Jack Lockwood to give them the victory 4-3. Just two West Side teams that I think are going to make their way up, maybe even Rockford into that top 10. Gage, what do you think?
Rockford has 11 college commits, so that speaks leaps and bounds as to where your program is going. Remember, Rockford being in D1, it's riddled with talent as far as teams go, but I do see Rockford going deep. I do like them as a sleeper team, but not really much of a sleeper. They're a good team.
Yeah, expect Rockford to make that way, maybe make that push into the top 10 like we said, and just, once again, this team is loaded with college talent, and when you're loaded with college talent, as we've seen with teams like Zeeland East too, you're going to make your way pushing for conference play, pushing in that state tournament, so expect to see Rockford continue to be talked about here on that show and just all over the state. All right, moving downriver, we went to Woodhaven versus Northville, game number 1. This one was crazy. 3-2 victory for Woodhaven. Andrew Phillips was a shining star in this one, doing it Ohtani style. Complete game, 1 earned, 5 Ks on the mound. Yeah, and he also went 3 for 4 at the plate with this home run right here. And he had 2 RBIs, and one of them being so important that it was actually the walk-off knock to knock off the top 5 team, Northville.
Yeah, Coach Corey Farner led the team 2 state titles in the last 5 years. He has experience, especially with teams with this kind of prominence in the actual state in Northville. They did have a slow start, but remember, again, state runners-up last year, so that's going to carry them along the way. Andrew Phillips is uncommitted right now. Look for more people to be looking towards him to get them on their ball club.
Absolutely. When you have a game like he just did, doing it on both sides of the ball, I mean, just you got to think that college scouts have seen that and are now reaching out to him. Northville ended up, picking up the win in game 2, and they're still dominant in this state, but it's always great to see a team like Woodhaven, after what they did last year, come out and show up well in this one. Some games to preview for the weekend. We got some good matchups. Moving into the OAA Red, Clarkston versus Rochester Adams. This one is always fun. I've played in a bunch of these, and Rochester Adams is always one of those teams that's got Clarkston's number. But without the Pico brothers, and Clarkston's starting to do well against some really good teams. They won 2 against Lake Orion, split versus Lakeland. I mean, Lachlan Stout, he's a big power threat for Clarkston. They've got some young guys, Dylan Johnston, Bryce Hickey, Chris York, Camden Williamson, the senior, and Owen McCune, too. They're going to be 2 guys that are going to play very well in this matchup. I love this matchup. I think it's going to be really fun. Gage, what do you think about Rochester Adams?
First off, they have Brenson Waters, University of Notre Dame commit, great left-handed bat. Ben Dempster is their catcher, 3-year starter, junior this year. Being behind the plate for 3 years for your team is having that solid foundation, your pitching staff being able to get behind you. From there, we have Drew Stitzel. He'll be 90 miles an hour off the mound you had mentioned to me, Robby, and he's also going to be playing second base when he's not pitching. Yeah,
no, that's going to be a great matchup in the OAA. Let's go over to the West Side for a great rivalry game. Maybe the best mascot matchup, the Chicks versus the Ducks, Zeeland East versus Zeeland West. No matter how good either one of these teams are, over the year, this is always one of those matchups where both teams play super, super hard against each other. And Zeeland East this year is loaded with college talent. Charlie Lackney, the College of Central Florida commit, he's going to light up the stat sheet, along with Trevor Raid, the Western Michigan commit, and Max Salas, the Northwood commit. Zeeland West, Gage, what do you think about them?
So don't count Zeeland West out, right? We have Zeeland East in our top 10. We have been from the very beginning of the season. Zeeland West, though, undefeated in conference play right now, so that's a good thing. Aiden Loreen is one of their pitchers. He's a big name to watch for the Ducks on the mound, especially this being a rivalry game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this matchup because, like you said, Zeeland West has got all the confidence in the world being undefeated, but Zeeland East has all the talent in the world. And like you said, already that preseason kind of like projection that this is going to be one of those top teams. So definitely a fun one to watch. Speaking of games to watch, get out and watch a game. These baseball teams all over the state. We just highlighted 2 guys who might be playing in the draft, but I promise you, all over the state of Michigan, you're going to find great, great talent, Gage. I mean, you've seen it when you've played, when you've coached. I've seen it when I've played. It's just so much fun to watch baseball here in the great state of Michigan. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Kind of emphasize what you said, Robbie. Get out there and watch some baseball. Support your local high school. Support your local community. Baseball's back. Get outside. It's spring.
Absolutely. Well, I got nothing left. Gage got nothing left. This has been another edition of Extra Innings High School Baseball Show. State Champs Extra Innings is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Extra Innings is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Male and Female Athlete of the Year Award.